Hello, welcome to our 14th lesson of this course. Today, we will be covering the first unit of Book 2, so Unit 1 of Book 2. In this unit, we're going to talk about matter. So we'll talk about atoms, elements, compounds, what the atoms are made out of, what they're called, and so on. So let us begin. For our first activity, I want you to read the following passage, the physical science matter passage. Once you finish reading the passage, I want you to answer these two warm-up questions over here. The first one asks, how are elements identified? And the second one asks, what is the relationship between atoms and matter? Okay, so pause the video, read the passage, and once you're done, resume the video, and we will go through the answers together. Here are the answers. So for the first one, how are the elements identified? Since an element is a basic substance of matter that is made up of one particular type of atom, there are different ways to identify the elements. For example, you can use the atomic numbers and mass numbers that you see in the periodic table. For the second one, what is the relationship between atoms and matter? Well, everything is made up of matter, and atoms are the foundation of matter. So everything's made of matter, and therefore they're made of atoms. Molecules and other basic things like water and air are made up of atoms as well. So that's their relationship. Okay, so those are the answers for this part. Moving on to the next section. For the next warm-up activity, I want you to read the passage again, and this time answer these three multiple choice questions. So for the first question, it asks, what is the main idea of the chapter, right? What's the main idea of this passage? The next question asks, which of the following does not have an electrical charge? And the third one asks, which of the following is the result of two or more elements, okay? So pause the video, read the passage again, and answer these multiple choice questions. Once you're done, resume the video, and we will go through the answers together. Here are the answers. What is the main idea of the chapter? The main idea of the chapter is the role of atoms. So they're talking about atoms and what they're made out of. For the second one, which of the following does not have an electrical charge? The answer to this one is a neutron. So everything else has an electrical charge except for a neutron, right? And for the third one, which of the following is the result of two or more elements? The answer to this one is compound. So a compound is the only answer here that involves two or more elements. Everything else does not. So those are the answers. We're moving on to the next section. For the first vocabulary segment of this unit, I want you guys to match the following words or phrases with the following definitions. So we have mass number, molecule, neutron, atomic number, electron, compound, diatomic, and element. So pause this video, match these words with the definitions first, try it out yourselves first. And once you're done, resume the video and we'll go through the answers and definitions together. Here are the answers. For the first one, a measure of the number of protons and neutrons in an atom. We call this the mass number. So if we add up the number of protons and neutrons in an atom, you get the mass number. All right. Next, a part of an atom with a negative electrical charge. We call that an electron. So electron is the part of the atom with a negative electrical charge. A measure of the number of protons in an atom. We call this the atomic number. So if you just only have the number of protons, that's the atomic number. But if you add the neutrons to that, then you end up with the mass number, okay? Next, a part of an atom with no electrical charge. We call this one the neutron, as we talked about earlier. Next, a basic substance made up of one particular type of atom. We call this an element, right? So an element is made up of one type of atom, okay? Next, the smallest unit of an element or compound. We call this molecule, okay? Next, something that contains two atoms, we call this a diatomic. So diatomic means it contains two atoms. And for the last one, the combination of two or more elements, we call this a compound, okay? So a compound is a combination of two or more elements. So those are the answers. We'll move on to the next segment. For the next vocabulary segment, I want you guys to fill in the blanks of these incomplete sentence pairs. For each of these sentence pairs, we are given a pair of vocabulary that you can use to fill in the blanks. So we have proton and ion for the first pair, atom and subatomic particle for the second pair, and nucleus and isotope for the third pair, okay? So pause this video, fill in the blanks yourselves first, and once you're done, we will resume the video, and we'll go through the answers together. Here are the answers. For the first one, AN blank always has a positive electrical charge. A proton always has a positive electrical charge, okay? So a proton is positive. Next, AN blank can have a positive or negative charge. The answer to this one is an ion can have a positive or negative charge, okay? For the next pair, a water molecule contains an oxygen blank, and a water molecule contains an oxygen atom, okay? So there's an oxygen atom as part of a water molecule. Since water is H2O, O is the oxygen atom. For the second pair, second sentence, a proton is a type of blank. A proton is a type of subatomic particle, okay? So it's part of an atom. So we call this the subatomic particle. Next, the blank is at the center of an atom. The nucleus is at the center of an atom. So we call the middle of the atom the nucleus. And the next one, the scientist counted the number of neutrons in the blank. The scientist counted the number of neutrons in the isotope, okay? So those are the answers. We're moving on to the next section of this unit. For the first listening segment of this unit, I want you to listen to the audio clip of the passage we've been reading so far. After you listen to the audio clip, I want you to fill in the blanks of the incomplete sentence at the bottom over here. So we have blank are positively charged while blank have a negative charge, okay? So listen to the audio clip, pause the video, fill in the blanks yourselves, and once you're done, resume the video and we will go through the answers together. Here's the audio clip.
Unit Book 2, size 5, page 5.
Physical science. Matter. Atoms are the foundations of matter. They are larger than subatomic particles and smaller than molecules. A molecule with two atoms is diatomic. An element consists of one type of atom. Two or more elements combine to form a compound. These different elements are identified by their atomic numbers. Atoms also have a role in electricity. An ion is an atom with an electrical charge. If it has more electrons, it has a negative electrical charge. If it has more protons, it has a positive electrical charge. If a particle has no electrical charge, it is a neutron. A mass number tells you the number of protons or neutrons in the nucleus. This determines which isotope an atom belongs to. All living things, including the human body, are made of atoms. Atoms make up elements and compounds, which are part of larger structures.
So that was the audio clip. Here are the answers. So protons are positively charged, while electrons have a negative charge, right? So protons are positive, electrons are negative, okay? So those are the answers. Moving on to the next segment. For the second listening activity, I want you to listen to a conversation between two students. After you listen to the audio clip, I want you to mark the following statements as true or false. So we have these three statements over here. We have the man's notes contain an error. The woman confuses atoms and molecules. And the students need to change their report. So listen to the audio clip, pause the video, choose true or false for each statement. And once you're done, resume the video and we will go through the answers together. Here's the audio clip.
Exercises 6 and 7, page 5.
Sarah, are you ready to get started on the report?
Actually, I started on it last night.
Oh, yeah? Can I take a look at it?
Sure. I used your notes on atoms and their electrical charges.
You did? There were some mistakes in those notes. I just noticed this morning.
Really? Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yes, I'm sorry I didn't tell you earlier. I mixed up the variables.
I didn't notice any errors.
Take another look. I wrote that protons have no electrical charge. And then I put that neutrons are negative.
Ah, that's what I thought it was too. Atoms can be confusing.
Now I know better. The charges for ions are positive or negative. That involves protons and electrons.
We'd better fix it.
Positive or negative.
It's a good thing it isn't due until tomorrow.
Okay, so that was the audio clip. If you need to hear it again, rewind the video to the point where it began the audio clip. Here are the answers. For the first one, the man's notes contain an error. The answer to this one is true. He talked about it with her saying that he just found out in the morning that his notes have errors. For the second one, the woman confuses atoms and molecules. The answer to this one is false. She said that atoms were confusing, but she didn't talk about molecules, right? And the third one, the students need to change their report. The answer to this one is true. Since the man's notes were wrong and then the other students' notes were based on the man's notes, therefore they both need to change their report, okay? So those are the answers. Moving on to the next segment. For the last listening segment of this unit, I want you to listen to the conversation again. And after you finish listening, I want you to fill in the blanks of the incomplete sentences over here. So listen to the audio clip, pause the video, fill in the blanks based on what you heard. And once you're done, resume the video and we will go through the answers together. Before I play the audio clip, you probably noticed from earlier that towards the end, the audio clip was a little bit messy, but you should still be able to hear the answers for all the blanks in this conversation. You just have to listen really carefully towards the end. Okay, here's the audio clip.
Exercises 6 and 7, page 5.
Sarah, are you ready to get started on the report?
Actually, I started on it last night.
Oh, yeah? Can I take a look at it?
Sure. I used your notes on atoms and their electrical charges.
You did? There were some mistakes in those notes. I just noticed this morning.
Really? Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yes, I'm sorry I didn't tell you earlier. I mixed up the variables.
I didn't notice any errors.
Take another look. I wrote that protons have no electrical charge. And then I put that neutrons are negative.
Ah, that's what I thought it was too. Atoms can be confusing.
Now I know better. The charges for ions are positive or negative. That involves protons and electrons.
We'd better fix it.
Positive or negative.
It's a good thing it isn't due until tomorrow.
Okay, so that was the audio clip. If you need to hear it again, rewind this video to the point where it began the audio clip. Here are the answers. Sarah, are you ready to get started on the report? Actually, I started on it last night. Oh yeah? Can I take a look at it? Sure. I used your notes on atoms and their electrical charges. You did? There were some mistakes in those notes. I just noticed this morning. Oh, really? Oh, I didn't realize that. Yes, I'm sorry I didn't tell you earlier. I mixed up the variables. I didn't notice any errors. Take another look. I wrote that protons have no electrical charge, and then I put that neutrons are negative. Ah, that's what I thought it was too. Atoms can be confusing. Now I know better. The charges for ions are positive or negative. That involves protons and electrons. We better fix that in our report. It's a good thing it isn't due until tomorrow. Okay, so those are the answers. We're moving on to the next segment. For the speaking segment of this unit, I want you to complete this incomplete conversation using the given sentences up here. So we have 5 sentences that you can use to fill in the blanks. The first one goes, the section on atoms and electrical charges. That's not, the second one is, that's not what it says here. Third one, I used your notes to study, but I'm still really confused. Fourth one, are you ready to go over the assignment? And the last one, they have no charge, right? Okay, so pause the video, fill in the blanks yourselves. And once you finish filling the blanks, filling in the blanks, either by yourself or with a partner, practice speaking this conversation. And when you're done with all of that, resume the video and I'll show you what the conversation sounds like. Here's the conversation. Are you ready to go over the assignment? Sure. What exactly do you need help with? The section on atoms and electrical charges. Let's start by comparing protons and electrons. I used your notes to study, but I'm still really confused. It can be tricky. Protons start with a P and are positive. Electrons are negative. That's not what it says here. Oh, there's a mistake here. I just noticed. I didn't mean to put that neutrons are negative. They have no charge, right? Exactly. Okay, so that was the conversation. I hope you have something similar. Moving on to the next section. For the writing segment of this unit, I want you to fill in the blanks of the following science project evaluation using the given vocabulary. So we have improvement, variables, 7, atoms, electrons, protons, matter, labeled, elements, and studied. Okay, so I want you to pause this video, try filling out the blanks yourselves first. And once you're done, resume the video and we will go through the answers together. Here are the answers. Science project evaluation assignment, identifying atoms. Student's name, Joel Rifkin. What score does this project receive? 1 to 10. The answer, 7. Please explain your scoring. Joel has shown a significant improvement in his understanding of matter and atoms. At the beginning of the semester, he consistently mixed up variables. This project proves he's studied very hard since then. His elements are correctly labeled on the table. Protons and electrons are assigned their proper charges in his descriptions. He still has more to learn, but this is a good start. Okay, so those are the answers. Moving on. For the next writing segment, I want you to fill in the blanks also, similar to the previous section, except this time we have the vocabulary neutrons, elements, compounds, protons, atoms, electrons, combination, and molecules. Okay, so pause the video, try filling out the blanks yourselves first, and once you're done, resume the video and we will go through the answers together. Here are the answers. Atoms are made up of protons, neutrons, and electrons. To find an atom's mass number, you need to add up the protons and neutrons. To find an atom's atomic number, you need the number of protons. Molecules and compounds are made up of more than one atom. However, compounds do not include a combination of elements that are all the same. Okay, so those are the answers, and that's it for this writing segment. So that was the last activity of this unit. If you need additional help, you will have access to the vocabulary PowerPoint, which has the definitions of all the words we've covered today, as well as their Thai word equivalents. I hope to see you guys for the next unit. See you later.